Alright, let's see if Alex logged on. I've already forgotten what his at is, actually. That works well. Yeah, I actually don't. Alright, here we go. I forgot how to request thing. Sup?
Good. How you doing?
Alright, I just came back from coaching him a Marinix on I was scrambling, I was running late.
Yeah, I had a teacher orientation today, so I was out all day.
I just realized that it's like two screens, so it cut my head off. It was kind of crazy. Alright, so oh yeah, I didn't really kind of go through it with you. Yeah, it shouldn't last more than like 30 minutes, but yeah, I actually started writing about the Subway series for LFG Sports. Like, yeah, it's like I told you, they're kind of like Barstool,
Yeah.
but without all the craziness. They were actually at both games, and the I guess the Yankee fans got the last laugh with that one. But they had like a booth set up. I didn't see it.
Yeah, we definitely did get the last laugh there.
Yeah, it was sour. But yeah, so like basically, like I've been writing I haven't done it in a while because I just got bogged down with work. But I've been writing like the profile stories. So I did one on my friend Vernon. He's like the Giants and the Yankees. I went with him on Monday to the game. My other friend who like he's a Kevin Durant fan. I don't think he has like a basketball team. And then my other friend who's like all Red Sox, like all Boston, like Bruins, whatever, Patriots.
Not Boston.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything but Boston.
He's got it all, like Celtics. Yeah, so it's got it from his mom, I guess. But yeah. So we just go through it. Just get your, obviously I know your last name, so I don't need that. But let's go through like your background of like growing up watching sports, playing sports, and how you became. Well, I guess we can go with the Yankees today because they want me to focus on one team for the most part.
Awesome. All right. So basically, since I was like a little kid, I was always into sports. I played basketball. I played a little bit of baseball. Um, and those were my main two sports like growing up. Um, and I played baseball all the way through my junior year in high school. I didn't play for my school because I actually picked up golf like in middle school, so I started playing golf a little bit, and I just kind of wanted to play baseball for fun, so I played a little bit of fall ball, just with a team in my league. But for the most part, like growing up, like family was diehard Yankee, Giants. Like those were our two like big teams. Um, but it's funny because my mom's side of the family is all Mets fans. So like growing up, it's like I always rooted for the Yankees. But when the Mets were playing the Royals in the World Series way back in what 2015, I think that was. I was rooting for the Mets, so it's I have a respect for the Mets, but obviously, like when they're playing against the Yankees, like I gotta go against them.
Oh, so your like father's side was Yankees and
Yeah,
Giants.
yeah. My dad's side was Yankees. My mom's side was Mets, but my mom wasn't really into baseball, and my dad was. So we picked up the Yankees. Like it wasn't like a non-negotiable for my mom. Like my mom didn't really have a care for it, but like her dad was such a big Mets fan that like she like rooted for the Mets whenever they were on television. But yeah, I was raised Yankees.
Well, that makes sense. So you're out in Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, so what? Yours was Monroe Woodbury growing up, or
Uh,
you were in that general area?
yeah, it was in that general area. I was from Washoe, which is a little smaller of a town. Um, and me and Monroe's right next to it. I don't know if you've heard of the Woodbury Commons, but I'm right by there. West Point's right in that same area, so like not too far from like the city or anything. It's probably about an hour commute driving, so it's not too far, but like close enough where like I could do it in a day.
Yeah, I was actually Googling because when you said Washingtonville, I was like Googling it, and it didn't even register to me like because we never played them.
Yeah,
Like I would play like Chester. All right, so yes, you've been a fan since like what, like you can remember like probably age 3.
yeah, very young. Yeah, started very young.
All right, so just talk about this is like the main part of like LFG that they just talk about the rivalry. So if you're Yankees, you got to kind of go against obviously the Red Sox.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't stand the Red Sox. It's funny because like when you think about it, like I'm diehard Yankee, but I mean a lot of people nowadays will play fantasy, so like obviously you get people that are just good. So on my one of my dynasty teams, I have Devers, so it's like that dude is good, but like I hate rooting for him. Like I he does well for my fantasy team, but like I hate seeing him hit a home run. Like I've been to like a Yankees Red Sox game, and it was back when not when COVID was like full swing, but like it was starting to get back to normal. So like people were like masking and stuff. You had to get a negative test to get into the stadium. So it was kind of like not like an empty crowd, but it was like a little bit less than. I mean, it was a lot less than what a normal Red Sox Yankees game would be. But that was a cool experience just to see them play the Red Sox at home. I always wanted to get out to Fenway and see a game against the Yankees. But I've heard the Red Sox fans are brutal Yankee fans out there. But I mean, kind of want to experience it once in my life.
Oh, it's a four and a, I don't know, is that 4 hours? I think it's a 4 hour drive.
Yeah, it's about four.
I went to the TD Garden once, so that's what it that's what it was. Yeah, Rafael Devers. Well, I mean, let's go back because we I think when they had those like 03, 04 ALCS, you were younger than me, so you probably were like I was 8.
I,
You were probably like three
I
or
was
something.
three. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
that's not even like doesn't even like register to you.
yeah. Like my earliest memories are like just like Jeter, A Rod. I mean, it was they were around like in that like during that time period, but like it was more like when they won in '09. Like that's like kind of like my earliest like recollection of the teams. Like I couldn't I wouldn't be as good as telling you who was on the team back in like '05, '04. But like as you get later on, like those players like they resonate with me, and like those are like the guys I grew up with.
So yeah, I'm trying to think eras now. So how did you? I mean, process because the Red Sox have had probably more. I mean, actually, in actuality, more postseason success. So they won 2013 and in 18. So like, how do you? I don't know. Did you like watch those series or like how did you process Yankees getting eliminated beforehand?
Uh, I mean, you hate seeing the Red Sox win, regardless. I mean, I hate seeing anyone in the AL East succeed. Like that's just not something that I like. I like to watch. But obviously, I tuned in a little bit there. It's hard seeing the Red Sox win a couple, especially when the Yankees have had some good teams and during that time and just couldn't get the job done. Especially like more recently, like 2018, 2019, like they had some decent teams that could have made runs and like they started to, but then the Astros came in and just kind of handled their business. Which I mean, that Astros are a good team, but obviously, like with all the scandals that happened with them, like it's hard to like respect them for doing that. But at the same time, it's like they did get the win. But obviously, like starting off this year, even like just the success that the Yankees had like really early on, like they were the hottest team in baseball. Like they were on track for like 120 wins. Like it was nuts. And I was like, this team has the chance to be special, like some of those old '90 Yankee teams. Like it felt like that. And then as you get on to those later, like right after the All Star stretch, it was just brutal. Like it started to go downhill, and then you're like, all right, like this just kind of reminds me of like typical Yankees where some guys get hurt, and then you got to worry about like are they going to get healthy, and when they come back, are they going to perform? They're going to hit the bats. Like it just feels like the same thing with the Yankees kind of repeats over and over again. I just like I wish that like they could sustain like a full season, whether that be like just like consistency is the big thing with me. Like the like obviously growing up in a New York market, it's all about consistency. If your team's not consistent, you're gonna hear it. Like I remember I was talking at the game, and you guys are Knicks fans. Like Knicks fans are they are very adamant about being consistent, and since they haven't really been like they've been consistently like bad, but then they had that one year where they went to the playoffs and play Atlanta, so it's just like with New York and the consistency. the Yankees just haven't been consistent. I just wish they were. That's the one thing that drives me nuts with the Yankees because they have the talent to do it. They can do it, but they just end up not doing it.
How do you process? I'm. This has to be like 2020. So I mean, so how do you process when the actual scandal with the trash can? So like, I mean, well, number one, how do you process that emotionally? You know, feeling you get cheated out of like maybe a post World Series parade, and number two, do the Astros jump in like that hatred barrel like you would hate the Blue Jays or something?
I mean, I as just a baseball fan in general, I think the Astros hopped in a lot of people's like hatred, like whether you're a Yankees fan or whether you're just a baseball fan. Like it wasn't good for the sport. Um, I yeah, I would say that I'm not the biggest fan of the Astros. Like obviously they have a ton of talent, but what they did is just like it did kind of cheat the Yankees out of a potential World Series. I think they get to the World Series that year, and I think they win it. So you know, like yeah, I don't think it's as much as the Red Sox, and I don't think it'll ever be as much as the Red Sox. But right now, it's still definitely a sore subject.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out if in 2020 you couldn't attend games. If last year they allowed at Yankee Stadium like a bunch of like Oscar Grouch trash cans, and
Oh, I'm trying to remember if they did. If not, then I think some people definitely brought signs and stuff, or like people were. I mean, obviously everyone was. I mean, even the players were thrown at Altuve. They were thrown at guys like that. Like everyone was angry at them. Like I mean, for understandable reasons. Like it was something that they shouldn't have done, and that it changed the course of baseball history. Like really, like the Yankees win those those World Series, like those 2 years, like that kind of changes a lot of how the Yankees are viewed. Like currently, like if I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm thinking about the future of the Yankees, if the Yankees this year don't get farther than the Mets, I think Boone's gone. I think that this team has way too much talent to not at least get to the World Series, if not win it. And I mean that might sound like a little crazy coming from just the Yankees that have made the playoffs, but like this team has the talent. They have the MVP in Judge. They have a very good core behind. Like they need to at least get to the World Series, and if not win it. Like uh, if they get to the World Series and lose to the Mets, I also think Boone loses his job. And I I want him to lose his job, but also at the same time, the Yankees, I don't know if they'll do that to Boone, especially if he keeps making progress. But Yankees fans, we're not happy with the progress. We want the trophies. We want the rings. We want all of it. And if he's not getting that for us, then we need another manager that can do it with this star power.
I do enjoy whenever he is arguing balls and strikes because he's usually right. But what I don't enjoy is when I watch like the baseball highlights on MLB Network and someone argues balls and strikes and they were like wrong and they got kicked out of the game anyway. But Aaron Boone will just come out and rip into the umpire, but he's usually like the strike zone.
Yeah,
It's not more than
Boone is
17
usually
inches.
right when it comes to the balls and strikes. I mean, coming from a guy that played like and understands where the zone should be, especially on a guy like Judge. Like Judge has been one of the bigger issues with the zone just because he's a 6'7" dude and his zone's a little different. But they still they need to clean up the umpire job in the game. It's just it's hurting the game. That's why there's serious talks about all these electronic or robotic umpires because it's ruining the game. The balls and strikes, like yes, there is an error factor, and yes, you can miss a couple balls and strikes, but on a consistent basis, to give guys that are 6'7" a strike zone that the ball is at their shins and it's a strike, it's not good for the game at all. Especially since players nowadays they're not as short as they used to be. There used to be guys like the average height in the MLB, I think probably used to be 5'10", 5'11". Like like small, not maybe 6 foot, but now guys are bigger. You see guys like O'Neal Cruz coming in. He's a stud, 6 foot, 6 foot 6, 6 foot 7, shortstop for the Pirates. There are more guys going to be like that. It's just how everyone is developing nowadays. Everyone's just bigger. Whether that be for science or whatever, but the MLB is getting bigger, and they need to definitely fix where umpires are calling balls and strikes, because that's just going to drive a ton of people nuts, and it's going to make more of a case for those electronic umpires.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, I remember I assume it got better from like it used to be like back in when I was 10 in '06 when the Mets lost, and they were really bad. The strike zone was as expansive as you could possibly think.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm thinking of like the pregame experience. So like do you ever get to do like a tailgating? Because I know you're coming from Orange County to Yankee Stadium, so you ever get to do the tailgating, or you go to Billy's, get a beer, or you just wait till you get, what's kind of your routine getting to the when you're actually at the stadium?
So usually, so with this season, I've mostly went with my friend, the kid that was with me at the game. His name's Tucker. I usually go with him, and what we'll do is we'll leave. He'll come pick me up probably around like 4 o'clock. We'll drive to the station. We go out of the Beacon station, and it has the direct train right to Yankee Stadium. So once we get to the station, we'll have a couple beers in the car, and then we'll hop on the train, have a couple on the train, and then before we even get to the stadium, like we already have a couple in, so we don't got to spend $100 on beer at Yankee Stadium, because you know how much beer is. It's like $15 for a can. It's like ridiculous. But um, yeah, so usually have a couple on the train. Train's usually pretty live depending on who we're playing. Some days it's better than others. Like with the Mets game, it was packed. The train was packed. It was pretty split. There's a ton of Mets fans, ton of Yankee fans, but that's what you expect coming here. Um, but when they played the Red Sox, did the same thing. Took the train down, and that train is packed with Yankee fans, and that train is rowdy. So I mean, I know a lot of people like to drive to the games, but I think for me, like I used to drive to the games. Like me, my dad, my brother, we'd always drive down to the games. And I think that the better experience for me is just taking the train. I think that's where you get a lot of fan interaction, and it's just kind of like a nice calming train ride before the storm getting into Yankee Stadium.
So yes, I mean you also look at it in terms of you got to like the traffic coming out of the
Oh
stadium is
yeah.
also would be.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, so we got home from that game. We left after the final out. Like sometimes we'll leave early, sometimes we won't. But we left at the final out. It was probably about what 10:15. Like it was probably around 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it was
And,
past it because it would have been a little longer.
yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
like 10:15, 10:30. We got back to Beacon at like 12:15. I was in bed by 1 o'clock. So if we were driving, like yeah, it'd be probably the same, but you would spend more money on gas, and you'd be sitting in traffic. And I would just rather not even do that and just take the train. Train's so much easier.
Fall asleep on the train possibly. I mean, you could
Oh
fall
yeah,
asleep in the
I've
in the
I've done that
passenger seat.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, after a long game, just knock out on the train. Like there was one time it was like an empty train, and I would just like lay across the seats and just fall asleep like that. It's much easier than driving, in my opinion.
All right, so you have any? I mean, if you go to the game enough, you'll have some crazy stories actually, of just probably it could be someone being drunk or someone falling asleep or a fight or something like that. I mean, just being at the game, you're gonna have some conflict, especially if you go like the Red Sox.
Yeah, let me see if I can think of one. Um, While I think of one, I'll tell you actually a funny story. Not, I mean, it's just ironic. So, my best friend from home, his name is Rich. Um, his dad used to work as a stadium cop. So, like, he was there. He worked back in the early 2000s, and we've all seen the play where Derek Jeter dives into the stands, um, and makes an incredible diving catch. He's coming out with blood all over him. The fans are helping him out. If you look at photos and you see that like there's a cop in the photo helping him out, that's his dad. So like he basically caught Derek diving into the stands and helped him out. And he has I'm pretty sure he has a framed photo. I don't know if it's signed or not. It'd be pretty cool if it was signed, but he has that photo like framed in his house. And I remember him telling me that, and I was like, "No, you're joking." And then he pulled up the photo one day, and it's literally his dad right there with Derek Jeter. And I was like, "Damn, that is a cool story for your kids." Um, Let me think of like another story. I don't really have like any like crazy fan stories. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've seen like fans like run to the field. I don't really. I mean, it's more common. Like we see it all the time now. I think I remember when I was younger, I was sitting like two rows back, and these fans were provoking this other dude to run on the field. They're like, "Yo, like we'll pay for your bail, like you run the field." And I think it was like you got to like say hi to all the outfielders. So basically, he had to get from right field all the way over to left field before he got tackled. Um, so basically, he did that, got all the way over, and I think he ended up trying to climb out, and they pulled him down. So I mean, I can't really think of like a fun like stadium story. Obviously, like Red Sox, Yankees, like you're gonna have your beefs. Um, Not like any crazy fights that I've seen, but obviously like trash talk banner back and forth, and that's at every game. Like not even just Red Sox games. Like Yankees fans will let you hear it if you're wearing an opposing jersey in their stadium. So, um, they're the best baseball fans in the world. You know, they'll let you know when you're in their home, like that you're not welcome here. Um, but it's for the most part respectful. Obviously, there's their moments where it's not, and they address that. And there's the one time I think it was against the Guardians when the fans were throwing the beer at what's his face? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't remember the name. I just
yeah,
googled
but
the
you
story.
remember the moment,
Yeah,
like
I can't
stuff
remember
like
the name.
that. Like personally, like those aren't true Yankee fans. True Yankee fans wouldn't do that. Those are the drunk, obnoxious Yankee fans. True Yankee fans at heart will root hard for their teams, and they'll have fun. They'll be competitive, just like how I was with you. I was chirping back and forth a little bit. I was giving high fives to your sister whenever we do something right, and that's just how it went. That's how a true Yankee fan should be, and that's what we are. And that's why we're the greatest fans in the world.
Oh, it said Miles Straw.
Miles Straw, yeah, that's who it was.
That
Yeah,
is
because
a
he climbed up on the wall and said something, and then after the game, they just started throwing the cans. It was nuts. I think my cousin was at that game actually, and he was like, yeah, that wasn't good. Like someone could have easily gotten like hit in the head with a can, and like it would have just been like really bad. It would have been bad on Yankee Stadium. Would have been bad on our fans, but luckily no one got hurt. But that was just not a good moment for us.
All right. I guess the last question would be so anything. I mean, you kind of answered it partially at least. Anything that other franchises should know about the Yankees fan base. Obviously, it's New York, so it'd be a little bit different than the Miami Marlins.
Yeah. So Yankees fans, like I had said before, like we are very passionate. Um, and just like in a New York market, like we want success. Like that is the number one thing, and that's what drives us to act the way we do sometimes. Um, whether that be Knicks fans, Giants fans, Jets fans, Mets fans, Ranger fans, like you name it, like New York fans are they want success, and if they're not getting success or they're not the team is not at where they should be, you'll hear it from the fans. You'll feel the pressure. Like some guys, like we saw with Gallo. Gallo just could not take the New York pressure, and I read a ton of stories online about um, like they were saying that Yankee fans were like
like Gallo didn't feel safe in New York streets, like he was gonna get like beaten up or people were gonna say stuff to him, and like how I said, like that's not what a true Yankee fan is. Like they were probably just obnoxious drunk Yankee fans that are not, like true passionate fans. The passionate fans are the ones that were rooting him on when he's batting 140 for us, like trying every day to like pick the guy's spirit up, and he just never got it done here. And that's some guys just can't get it done here. Luckily, like a guy like Stan, I was a little nervous when we first brought him in, because guy with loads of talent, was unsure if he was going to be able to like bring it over to the big lights in the Big Apple, but I think he's done his part, and I mean Judge, I mean good God, that man just embraces everything. It's awesome seeing him lead this team and all the success he's had this year. So I mean I'm just really excited to see what the Yankees can do in this postseason. And if I were to describe Yankee fans, like I said, very passionate, and they're going to root hard. And if you're not with them, like you're against them, but also in a way that like we're not gonna kill you, we're not gonna harm you. It's just we're passionate. We want our team to win, and when we don't, like we're not happy about it. We want success, and we honestly deserve success. That's I think you can say the same for Mets fans. I mean, Mets fans obviously have not had as much historic success as the Yankees have, but I would say that some Mets fans are on the same level. I mean, Mets haven't won a title in how long, but I think they still root hard, and obviously it's tough. But like all New York fans are awesome. They're elite. They're better than any other sports fan out there, and that goes for Yankees fans, Mets fans, Jets, Giants, Rangers. All New York fans, they are serious and they want success. And if they're not getting it, you'll know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the last question. I guess you can go through your real quick, favorite player. I assume it's Judge, but I could be wrong. Favorite player, currently, and then maybe all time.
So it's actually not Judge. Ironically enough, for on the current Yankees team, it's Gleyber Torres. Funny story with him. I'm in a dynasty baseball league, like I was saying before, and I had heard of Gleyber Torres when he was just coming up through the farm system, and I added him as a minor leaguer because in our league we get one minor leaguer to bring up. So I had him, and I waited 3 years. I waited 3 years for him to get pulled up all the way to the majors. And then when he got pulled up, he was really good. So it was just happy for me to like track him and see him come up and have all the success. And he's not doing as well as he was, but he's not like full on like sucking. So I hope he stays, and I know there's been talks about him like possibly going with all the young shortstop talent. We got Peraza in AAA, we got Volpe in AA, so we have a ton of shortstop talent. So, like with playing around with IKF and Torres in that middle infield, like there's some young guys coming behind them for their spots. So right now it's Torres. I could see in a couple years it being Dominguez, because Dominguez is the same case with me with Torres. I actually picked him up 2 years ago when he was 16 or 17 years old, and I'm going to keep him until he gets to the majors. And I think he's going to be a very good piece for the Yankees in a couple of years. So, but all time, I would probably have to go with Mariano Rivera. I would say him or Jeter. They both just carry themselves around with class, and I loved watching the captain. Like that was an awesome series. But I like the old Yankees teams. Like I wish I was like alive for them like more than I was. Like because I was born the year that it was Yankees Mets in the World Series in 2000. So I wasn't even alive to even see that. But like watching back highlights, like that was that was a very hype series. Like I hope that happens this year. That'd be an awesome series for the city of New York. But yeah, I would say Jeter and Mo are my two favorite all time, and I'd say right now Torres is my favorite current Yankee, and my favorite person in the entire system I would say is Dominguez.
All right, yeah, I think we got everything here. It's a good insight to your perspective. We're different eras. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm like 5 years. I'm like 96, so I was able to see like all the oh 04, oh 03 ALCS.
yeah,
But yeah, like once I finish editing, I'll just send it to you, and hopefully I see you at the World Series if I don't see you before then.
yeah. That'd be awesome if they could be a Yankees Mets World Series. I think that would be the greatest thing to happen since 2000 when they did it the first time. So like that, I would love that, and that would really. I don't even know what it would do for the city of New York. I think people would go nuts. I think I there would be so much. There would be like so much divide, but it'd be like a fun little back and forth Yankees Mets. Like it's all competitive fun. Like this. That's why you love sports. It's all fun. It's all competitive, and at the end of the day, it's just a game. So, like I said, it's all fun, and I hope that happens because I can't stand to see the Dodgers get there, and I definitely do not want a team like the Astros getting there again. So hopefully it's Yankees Mets, but if not the Yankees, I hope the Mets get there.
All right, we'll see. Yeah, I'll be stressed once the Dodgers once they have to face the Dodgers NLCS. Hopefully, hopefully the Braves will knock them out. But
Yeah,
that's all. Throwing it out into the ether.
yeah.
All right, so yeah, I'll type it up, and then once it gets out, then I'll be the first one. I'll send it to you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, most definitely. Have a good one.
All right, you too.